Oh yeah. That's a nice meat fish. Okay, today I'm going to go over how I got my Pro Angler 12 set up for fishing. So I've made a lot of videos. Y'all can see all the different stuff I use. So for fishing rod holders on the boat itself, I like the Hobie H-Rail rod holder to set a rod in statically when you're changing baits, hooking, unhooking fish, whatever it might be. And on the other side, I like a Ram 2007, and I use that for trolling and other times just holding the rods in different angles. Okay, so whenever I go out and I'm launching or retrieving the boat or navigating in shallow water, I always keep a handle on the left side on my half paddle, and I use that constantly. And I always take both pieces with me in case something ever happens to the drive. That's your secondary mode of moving the boat. So for me, for the seat, I like it in the high position. I keep a knife fastened to the side of the seat, and I keep my fish grips clipped right underneath them. And I also keep a float on my fish grips. The last thing you want to happen is try to revive a fish. He kicks out of your hand and he swims off with your grips. This float will keep him near the surface till you release him. Side of the boat, I keep a little piece of PVC with a rope attached to the H-rail, and what this is a recovery tube. So in the event I flip, which is not if, it's when, you will roll one of these. This will drop out the boat and hang in the water, and I can get it and put my foot in it for leverage, or I can flip it over the top of the boat from the other side and pull it and right the boat. So it's attached to the H-rail, and I just drop it right down in here in back of the seat. That's where I'll keep it permanently all the time. When the boat flips over, it'll drop out. On this side, I also keep a pair of pliers tethered to this little pad eye. So that's my fishing pliers for cutting leader material, unhooking fish, whatever it might be. And they just lay right in the bottom of the boat right there. In front of the seat right here on the bottom, I keep a little piece of pool noodle, and all this is for is to put lures and hooks and all in as I change out during the day. Good convenient place to keep your baits when you're swapping. Instead of dropping the hooks in the side pocket to where they'll get tangled and all, just hook them right in a little piece of pool noodle right there. So we'll talk about a lot about different safety things in the boat during this little how I set my boat up. So one of the main things for safety is in this inner hatch I keep a pump, because like I said, it's not if you're going to roll, it's when. So I got a pump in the discharge tube, and it's just looped around the hatch loop. I also keep vacuum sealed an extra fin, an extra stainless shaft, and an extra clip and snap ring for my H drive. So I have had a fin failure before out there, and I just want to make sure if it ever happens again, I'm covered. So I just keep these right in the bottom of the boat, right there, out of sight, out of mind, but I know I have them. And then inside my hatch, keep the essentials. A roll of toilet paper, a docking and mooring rope, a fish ruler, and then I also have a 3-foot cast net in here for catching live bait. And then I keep miscellaneous paddle leashes, rod leashes, a little bit of extra bungee cord, a few little extra stainless clips. You never know what you might need. Alright, I'm right-handed, so I do most of my fishing sidearm cast from the right side, and most of my retrieval in from the right side of the boat or straight off the bow. So I put my anchor trolley system on the left side to try to keep from snagging it. So in order to properly do an anchor trolley safely the right way, you need to have a quick disconnect on it. So what I do is on the end of my anchor line, I just got a loop. I go through the eye, and I keep a quick disconnect tied right around the steering stanchion here. Put the trolley on that. So depending on whether I want to be anchored out in the front, it works just like this, or if you want the anchor to run off the back, same thing. Exact same thing. So now your anchor system is going to be set up off the back. In the event there was an emergency, a rough wave or something you had to release quick, all you do is pull the quick disconnect, and this will drop right off. Your anchor floats away, but the bobber marks your spot, the float, so you'll never lose it. So that's the actual proper way to run an anchor trolley. You need some type of quick disconnect. If you don't have a quick disconnect, you can just go through the trolley and tie a quick disconnect knot here, something that you can just release by pulling the cord. But I use these stainless steel quick disconnects. Works great for me. All right, I'm gonna show you all how I got my anchor set up. What I got is collapsible anchor in a bag, not in a bag, in a piece of PVC, and I got holes drilled all in it to keep mud out. What I do is I deploy it. The rope's all shoved in there. Then on the end of the rope, I just got an eye. Yep. And what I do with that eye is I come through my anchor trolley and then hook it into a quick disconnect on the side of the boat. So now I'm set up to wherever I want my anchor. And if I get in a bind, I just pull that quick disconnect and it releases, and the buoy marks the spot. And then you got your quick disconnect here with your anchor trolley on. See, that's how fast you can release if you have to. Once you release, you can just turn around, double back, and go get her. So if I had high wave action or something that I needed to get away from, I can pop it and release it. Comes right out the anchor trolley loop, and then you can see right there she is. There on my float. Go back and pick her up. So the way I stow my anchor system is I keep it in a piece of PVC, and I have all the holes drilled in it. That way if I don't deploy it, I can still just hose it off and it'll drain out and dry. So what you want to do is you want to just take your rope and pack it inside the piece of PVC, and then it'll automatically come out on its own. It won't tangle or nothing. So pack all your rope in there, all the way to your anchor. I like to put my bobber in. And I put the anchor right on top of it, pushing it down, and then I have my end right there. So if I want to deploy this anchor, I can do it real quick. Then once the anchor's all in the tube, I just keep it right here in back of the seat, in the back of the boat. And that's how I store and manage my anchor system. And if you want to, you can have the rope pre-ran through the eye of the anchor trolley, and then the quick disconnect, and then all you got to do is take it out, open it up, lock the anchor open, and deploy it. Works great. All right, one of the next things we'll talk about is part of my rod management system in the old trusty death chest. So what I use to hold my fish, ice, drinks, everything, and store my rods is a 48 cord Igloo. And what I've done is on the back of it, I've taken a piece of cutting board and cut it, bolted it to the side, screwed the handle right back in, and then I took PVC tubing, warmed it up, flared the end, and used an 1.5-inch hole saw to cut and make these stanchions. So I have 4 rods on the back, separated apart, and then I took weed eater line and made lanyards out of it, and I keep these stainless steel quick connects on them to keep my rods all leashed. In the event I roll, it'll be a long tangled mess, but I will be able to recover them. So this is how the death chest is set up. I took the bungee cord that was on the rear storage well and cut it, and I used it to make these. Then I bought some stainless steel S-hooks, and I used that to hold the death chest in place. So I'll show you how easy it is to install. With my anchor right there, I can take and drop the death chest in right in front of the kayak, and then I take these 4 stainless hooks on bungees and I just hook them in the pad eyes that are already on the boat. So that keeps the ice chest secure. It doesn't move, doesn't go anywhere. Nice steady foundation. The only thing I would recommend is I wouldn't recommend getting green. It absorbs a lot of heat, it heat sinks, and your ice melts terribly fast. When the death chest finally goes out, I'm going to replace it with white, but this is what I had was green. And you can see I just drilled through and bolted. I didn't even use stainless bolts, just whatever I had, zinc bolts. 2 on the outside. These hold the whole rack to the box. So that's the death chest. So here's the death chest rod holders with rods in, and you can see all I do is I take and I attach these to the rod itself. I can reach around, take them out the box and stretch it all the way forward and connect and disconnect them. So if you're going to do a rod holder like this, one thing you need to note is the outside 2 have to be on a 45. If these were both out on 90, they would hang all up on each other on the handles. So I got the outside 2 ones on 45s, and it just makes it easier to get rods in and out however you do it. So that's how I hold my rods. This tube right here is a 1-inch PVC, and I use that for a fiberglass stakeout anchor. I drop it right in there, and then on top of that anchor I have flags for daytime visibility, and I'll hang my light for nighttime use off the top of my anchor pole. Alright, for tackle storage when I'm out there, what I do is I use these Plano boxes. They seal, that's the reason why I like them. And I take them, I've got a bunch of them, freshwater and saltwater setups, and I hook 2 together with little pieces of Velcro. Then they'll fit underneath the seat still, and you can strap them down. So I can haul up to 4 of them underneath my seat, no problem. And you can carry massive amounts of tackle in there. And I'll usually keep a roll of leader material in the front hatch. So for my keys, wallet, and everything, I put it in a Plano box, and I put it right here in the hatch storage the whole trip. Out of sight, out of mind. If you roll, you're not going to lose it. These will float if you roll or whatever, and you can always recover them. So tackle storage under the seat, in the front hatch, and valuables and truck keys in the tackle storage system built into the boat. So anytime I'm out in the boat, I keep the 1 paddle with the T-handle right here by my side for quick access. And it also opens up the space in the back. And then I keep a net, which is just a floating net that I added about 3 foot of 1-inch PVC and some more flotation to, just to be able to handle fish better. So I keep my net and that right beside my drive. When I'm live bait fishing, I got about a 6-foot lanyard on my Fraybill floating bait bucket, and the same thing, I got a quick disconnect on it, and I'll keep it on this side of the kayak, and it just makes it easy on and off. I'll drag it behind me a lot, but then when I want to turn or do some navigating, I just pick it up and set it right here by my leg. That gives me room to still be able to pedal and still have access to the bucket. So like I said, I keep a little 3-foot cast net in there, and I carry my live bait bucket so I can always catch a mullet, shrimp, whatever it might be. And if I'm not using it for storage, I just disconnect it and I store it over here on the port side of the boat, right here by the ice chest. Stays in there perfectly. I'm fishing live bait. I put my bait bucket on a quick disconnect and about 6 foot of rope. I'm out of shrimp today, and so I fished that. If I buy live bait in the morning on the way to the ramp, I use a little Baby Bubbles aerator to make sure that the bait stays alive. Or if I'm pedaling for long distances and I don't want to drag them behind me, I'll put the little bubbler in just to keep it aerated while it's out the water. And of course, once I stop, I constantly fill it and dump the water, change it. The fresher the water is, the better your live bait stays. So that's pretty much wrapping up how I set up and fish out of my Hobie Pro Angler 12. Great boat, fantastic boat. I love it. I actually use it more than any of my other boats. I have a big flat boat with a 90 Suzuki, and I actually prefer to take this out. A lot more enjoyable, a lot more fun, a lot more peaceful. So till the next video, get out there and go fishing. Here's the kayak loaded up, ready to go. Yep.